Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your April forecast. Really great to see everyone again. Just a reminder, I don't always say this, but you can use this for your sun, for your rising, and also for your moon sign. Now, I like to start off every reading with some channeled information, and the way that I arrive at that is I begin to meditate just before I start this reading, and then I engage in automatic writing. What comes through that automatic writing is your channeled information, and as I was doing that this month, this is what I received. Be proactive and take the reins. Act before others do, and know that timing is your secret tool or your best weapon this month. So I want you to really focus on, first of all, tuning into your intuition. That's what this is all about. But not hesitating. If there's something that's important that you need to get done, remember that you should be the one that's initiating the conversation, and you should be the one that's getting this started this month. So don't be afraid to just ask someone about something that's on your mind. A lot of times when you sort of have that thought, I should call someone, or I should write to this person, or I really need to get this taken care of, that other person is feeling that energy too. And if you're the one that initiates it, they're just going to see you as being very on top of things. And I think, especially from a professional perspective, this is going to be great. But also in relationships, if you're the first one to sort of say, "Hey, it's been a while. We should go out to grab a bite to eat," or "I just want to see, how are you feeling?" You know, that means a lot to people around you. So this is a month for you to sort of be the one that's leading the way and sort of taking the reins. And that's really what I got as the visual download too, was you sort of pulling in the reins and taking control of your life this month, okay? Now let's take a look and see what the cards have to say. Let me go ahead and give it a good shuffle. For those of you that are new, I just want to say welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. It's always great to have you join the discussion again. Now, the way I organize this is after we do that channeled information, I like to pull a Celtic cross here, and then after that I'll expand it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. At this point I like to remain quiet and just observe the cards as they fall. Okay, and additionally, I am going to pull a catalyst card. For me, the catalyst card is what connects everything together. It's also what kind of sets things in motion as well. And we have Ace of Swords. It's in the reverse state here, or as reversed as I can get it with the circular card. Now, with the Ace of Swords in reverse, you really want to be focusing on trying to be as constructive and as kind as possible with your communication. Sometimes a reverse sword can indicate misinterpretations, miscommunications, misunderstandings. So I want you to try to do your best to make sure that people understand what you're saying, and vice versa. If you've heard something, make sure that the delivery and the receipt of this is going to be clear on both sides of the equation. Now, the other thing that comes through with this is this may be a difficult month at the beginning for you to sort of get things started. When I see Ace of Swords or an Ace of Wands in reverse, sometimes it can be exhaustion. With the swords, it's more about having the ability to sort of like follow through on things. So know that you can do it, and remember that your channeled information was just to be the one that is pushing things, not waiting for that feedback or waiting for things to happen for you. And I think that's going to give you some of the momentum, hopefully, that you need to get started. Let's go ahead now and take a look at all of the cards here, and I'll talk high level and then I'm going to pull them one by one. One thing that I'm noticing right now is that there's some major changes going on with relationships and also with work. There's a lot of relationship cards here. There might be some relationships coming to an end. Ultimately, I think that this is a good thing, what the changes that are happening, but let's go one by one and break this down. So as you can see right at the center, we have the Death card, and the Death card is crossed by the Three of Cups. So for me, this is showing, for some of you, that you're going to be either distancing yourself from some of your friends, or that there might have been a falling out. And this could also be, for some of you, because you were in a long-term relationship and there may have been a third party that got involved with that. Or whenever I see Three of Cups and it's somehow tied to a relationship, it can mean that there might be a desire to see if there was someone else out there. Maybe you weren't happy, maybe you thought this wasn't the one. However, the other meaning for the Three of Cups is a celebration, and maybe there's been a big life change that's happened for you, because the flip side of death is rebirth. And so this could be a change where you decided to maybe leave one job and start another, leave one part of the country and move somewhere else, and this is a celebratory card on top of that. So I do think that whatever sort of big shift that you've had in your life, you should celebrate what opportunities it's bringing in. As I look at what's been contributing to this, it does feel like over the course of the last month, maybe the last couple of months, friendships and relationships have weighed heavily on you. I feel like now the work is starting to take more of a precedence here, and it's going to be something you focus on more. Now, if you're deciding to stick with a relationship, there has to be some work that's going to be done outside of your job and outside of other parts of your life. So I do see a little bit of an imbalance here with relationships overall. And when I look in the environment card, we have a judgment card, which means that there's going to be a lot of decisions that you have to make on what's important to you. There's no right or wrong thing here. You have to sort of tune into your soul and see what makes sense. I will say this, the fact that we have the Four of Cups here in the near future is really important. This is showing that you may not be focusing on everything that matters. You might be focusing on what's lost, what you expect to be happening. It's sort of like everything but what the possibilities are. And this card is a card of sometimes missed possibilities or not seeing the whole picture. So I encourage you to kind of take a step back, and it's worth noting that I've seen this in 3 other signs so far this month. And so this seems like this is a common thread, that people are getting a little bit anxious or getting a little bit impatient. And what you want to do is to take a step back and think, is it really the situation that's upsetting me? Or am I just kind of like not taking time to realize that I have a lot to be grateful for and this is worth fighting for? You have to sort of make sure that you're not missing a bigger part of the equation, including what you're bringing to the situation. Once you've sort of sat down with yourself and sorted that out, if that's the case, you can move forward. And the cool thing about the Four of Cups, though, is it usually shows me that things are better than you think, especially when it's reversed. And it's showing me that if you have a little bit of patience, I believe that you're going to have some good opportunities coming through here in the short term. In fact, as we look at your ego position, it's the High Priestess. High Priestess is one of manifestation. She's an elevated version of the Magician. She has more focus, more ability to manifest. She's also very good at navigating things and making people get excited about what she has to say. So the way you can use the High Priestess in your life is to really focus in on your creativity, use that to your benefit, whether you're an artist or a business person or retired, it doesn't matter. What this means is that you can somehow take this passion, this desire, sometimes even that frustration, and channel it into something productive. Now, this is also a card of intuition, something I've seen in at least 2 or 3 other signs as well this month. So I feel like there's a window, or there's sort of there's like a portal of energy that's opening up that's going to allow people to be a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more creative this month. And I really would encourage you to utilize that. That's in your ego position, so it's there for you throughout the entire month if you need it. Right above that, we talked earlier about this, but you have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is encouraging you and also reminding you that now is the time to make some decisions. And when I go back to what I channeled earlier, I said be proactive and take the reins. I really think that you have to act before others. So don't delay in your decision-making process, especially if you already know what you need to do, but you're dragging your feet because maybe you're worried about how it might come off to other people. That's fine. You can get other people to help you convey the message, or to double check and see if the way you want to say it or write it makes sense. But don't let that be your excuse for not making the decision or moving forward. Because once you do that, like, there's this big relief and this big weight that has been removed. And in fact, as I look at your hopes, your fears, your opportunities, we have Ace of Wands, which is basically taking this energy of stagnation and turning it upside down, or right side up in this case, and showing you that all of a sudden you start to have this ability to have new ideas. For those of you that are looking to maybe get out of a not so good relationship into something new, then all of a sudden you feel good about yourself again. There's a sort of an improvement of self-confidence. There's ideation. There's this ability to sort of come up with new ideas. I feel like the 3rd week of the month it's almost like the sky is clear for you. So if you're having a hard time, really try to work on yourself first. And then it's almost like at the end of the month, you have the starting gun and you can, begin your races and there's no looking back. So I want you to be ready for that. The outcome card this month is the Two of Wands. It's reversed. And this is showing me that there's a little bit of a long-term delay in sort of seeing everything get done. That's why I think it's important for you to start sooner than later so that you can work through these delays, minimize the effect that they have, and continue to stay focused on what's important to you. That's really what the Two of Wands is about, is having a clear vision of what your desires are, what your future goal is, and then basically the universe lines up all the dominoes so that everything can lead you to that point, and then it almost feels effortless once you get over the initial roadblock that I'm feeling might come through at one point this month. Overall, things look good, but there is some difficulty with this Death card at the beginning, because anytime you have a shift, it can be something that's uncomfortable, let's put it that way. And for some of you, death can be literal, and this could also indicate like a family gathering. So you may be letting go of someone in your life and there's a family gathering that ensues. And if that's the case, know this, there's a lot of love around you. But everyone will need the support and TLC from you as well, because that card is in reverse. So be there if you can. Don't be afraid to ask for help as well if that's something that's pertinent to you, if you're losing someone or if there's someone in your life that's getting ready to make that big transition in life. Okay, that's everything from the perspective of the Celtic cross. So let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We'll begin with your health card and take a look and see what's coming through for your mind, your body, and your spirit this month. And it was reversed, but I'm going to read it. It says, "My happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe." So for some of you, there's going to be a test this month. This could be because something ends up happening the way you didn't expect it. Perhaps, you are let go of your job, or someone breaks up with you, or again, you experience a loss that's significant. And you have to believe that this is actually for your benefit. And when you do that, this is going to help your overall emotional mood. Most of the cards I've been pulling this month in health have to do with the connection of emotions to your spiritual self. So I want you to believe that even little setbacks in your life, maybe you've sprained an ankle, or maybe you have to get your tooth filling or something like that. These are not the universe like punishing you. It's usually sort of a wake-up call to take care of yourself in a way that you haven't before. And it's also about you sort of looking and saying, what can I do now to be better than I was in the past? Not focusing on the loss, focusing instead on potential and focusing on what you can do to be more empowered. Because at the end of the day, the universe really does have your back, but you have to sort of meet it halfway, and that's what that card is saying. So do your work in respect to living healthier, being healthier, but it's mind over matter, and that's a universal message that I have in almost all of the health cards this month. How you feel and how you think directly affects your body. This is also attached to two chakras here, throat chakra and third eye. So some of you may be having issues with either sore throat, dry mouth, could also be having migraines. And again, pay attention to what your habits are and also how you're feeling emotionally. This is going to have a direct impact on being able to bring that under control. Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast and look at your wealth card. Wealth includes not only your relationship with money, but it can also be self-worth or opportunities on the horizon. Let me give this a shuffle. We'll see what's coming through. For you, we have the Angel of Balance. So, of course, this is really about staying within reasonable sort of expectations of your budget. So balancing your budget, also making sure that if there's anything that you need to do as far as spending or planning, that you're not going to extremes. You need to make sure that you feel comfortable, that everything is manageable from a day-to-day perspective, and that you're not sort of going to extremes. The other thing that this shows me is that you should be able to find a way to solve problems. So if there has been something that's been vexing you, maybe it's a student loan that you're paying off, or a debt, or you're trying to save to buy a house, or you're worried about retirement. This is about sitting down and figuring out what it's going to take and feeling better about it, because really that that information and research phase is what's going to equal empowerment. And as tough as it is sometimes to either do that research or ask for help, that's ultimately what's going to make you feel better. So I encourage you to do that. But basically nothing big this month. Another thread, and a common thread that I've been seeing, is just not to make a big purchase of anything this month. Focus instead on balancing out your all of your accounts, making sure that your debts are manageable or not there at all, and proceeding accordingly. Let's take a look now at your relationships this month and see what's coming through for love. We have a Miracles card, which I love. It says, expect wondrous things to emerge, or expect the wondrous to emerge. So what I want you to do with respect to whatever your relationship status is, believe that what you're seeking is possible. And this is something else that I talk about a lot this month, which is that if you don't have that belief of at least entertaining a possibility, then the windows and doors in the universe close on you. So if you're in a difficult spot in your relationship, and many of you may be, because, you know, we saw the Death card at the center, there was the Three of Cups on top of that. So for some of you, again, that could show a third party in a relationship. It could show losing someone in a gathering. Whatever it is that's going on in your life with someone that you love, believe now that something better can come from that. This doesn't mean that all of your dreams will come true. What this means is your wildest expectations, or your fixation on one thing, is going to be basically shaken to the core, and there might be something better than you thought around the corner. So if you've been pining over one person, this card doesn't necessarily mean they're going to call you. It might mean that you find someone that is actually reciprocating your energy and is a better match for you than that person that you thought was your match. If you lost someone in your life, it might mean that someone else steps in and fills that void in a way that either that person would approve of, or you just didn't even expect. They step up, and it's a beautiful thing. So I want you to expect now that your life, from whatever it is right now, can improve in ways that you couldn't imagine. Your prayer to the universe could be just that. Help me now to open up new possibilities for love, for happiness, and surprise me in a very positive way. Have it surpass my greatest expectations. Have that be part of your nightly or daily prayer, and tell the universe that you're ready for abundance. That's really what that card is saying. If you believe that, if you open the space for it, then it can show up. If you close it down and think, it's never going to happen, why did I get that card, then it won't happen. But open yourself up and see what does. Believe in the potential of something better than you expected, and then it can happen, okay? Let's take a look now at your Destiny card. Destiny is basically a GPS, at least in the way that I'm reading it, and it's a chance for you to decide, am I happy with my current course? Do I like where I'm headed? If not, you can change it. So we have the Five of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Cups in reverse is a slight improvement over the Four of Cups that I saw, but what it's sort of challenging you to do is to see your part in the present situation. We don't see it as much here, but there's usually someone looking down at the water and maybe seeing a reflection. And so the reversal of this is maybe you not being able to see your reflection, or maybe there's so much energy from other people that it's clouding your perspective of why you're in the situation. So first, take a look and see, how do I feel? Who am I again? Like, what does my energy feel like? Because sometimes especially if you're a caregiver, you might be giving away so much that you've forgotten or let go of that. Once you're centered with that, then think, how do I feel about being in this situation? Is it bringing me happiness? Is there something that's worth fighting for? This card is one where there is something that might be like a positive in the current situation. There's also a lot that has kind of transpired that might make you think, why do I want to do this? Only you can kind of do the soul searching to decide what makes sense. But I think the missing component this month is, how is this relating to you? One, how did you get there? And two, how do you feel about being in it now? If you see it as a growth opportunity and you're okay and you think, I'm ready to take this on, I can handle it, then go for it. If you're feeling sort of like you're just one step forward, two steps back, then this may not be the best match for you, whatever you're in, whatever the situation is. Let's go ahead and review, and I will try to bring everything into a concise focus for you. The channeled information this month was to be proactive, take the reins, and that really was the visual that I saw, was you taking the reins. and act before others do. Basically surprise them in a positive way. It's almost like a preemptive strike, but in a very positive way. It says timing is your best tool, your best asset, your secret weapon. So if you time things accurately and correctly this month, then you're going to have that element of surprise and also make people realize that you've got it all together. Even if you're trying to get it together and don't have it there yet, sometimes you're faking it till you make it, and this is a case where that's going to work in your benefit. So we have the Ace of Swords card reversed, and if you notice this one, there's a person meditating underneath it. I think one way that you can bring yourself back to that state of equilibrium is through meditation. We also have this beautiful transformative butterfly here. So this is a time where you've got to change yourself, change your patterns a little bit. And that makes sense when we see the central card is the #1 change element in all of tarot, which is death. You can't, I would say death and the Tower. Both of these, you can't ignore them when they come through. Three of Cups, tune out what other people are saying. Focus on what matters to you. For some of you, again, there might be some sort of a loss, but I see a lot of support around you if that's the case. For many of you, there's a chance to let go of a relationship because it feels like there might have even been some manipulation for some of you in that. You've got to follow your intuition if that's the case. There's a lot of great opportunities with work and money this month. I would really embrace that. Three of Pentacles can be not only a step-up opportunity, but recognition. It's reversed, so I don't want you to miss that chance, and I don't want you to say no just because you're focused on some other elements that might be kind of taking away your attention. Be decisive this month. We talked about that earlier. Know that the latter part of the month is bringing sort of this great energy when it comes to ideas, vitality overall. It's very good for you. And I see a couple months of growth, but it's going to go a little slower than you expected, which is why timing now is important. You can really make the best use of all of this change and opportunity, but you've got to act quickly. And so don't lose your window of opportunity. When we looked at health, I mentioned that the two colors here reminded me of the throat and the third eye. So migraines and throat or thyroid issues could be an issue for some of you. Of course, go to the doctor if that's the case. But the other thing is this is really about an emotional shift that you need to make this month. It says, my happiness is a reflection of my level of faith in the universe. Another way to state this is, I believe the universe has my back. And I'm going to reevaluate what's going on and try to use these situations as lessons. And I'm going to then happiness is sort of like a perspective. It's not necessarily just an emotion. It's if you can look at your life and sort of the sum of all the parts and think, you know what, I'm grateful for where I'm at. I wouldn't change a thing, even the tough pieces. Then you realize, okay, I guess you could call that happiness. There's satisfaction, there's that sense of I'm okay. And maybe you can start the mantra out with that. I'm okay. I'm going to be okay with this. I'm going to figure this stuff out. When I look at your wealth card, it's all about balance. And I think limits too this month. Try not to overdo anything, and know that if there's something that's out of balance, I feel like you have everything within your power to make it better this month. Maybe not fix it, but bring it back into your control. And that's really, again, going back to the channeled message, reining things in. You have to at least entertain the possibility that the universe can surprise you in a positive way. We all know that it can surprise us in a not so fun way, but when it comes to love, and relationships, and for some of you, if you're losing someone, thinking this thought can be very damaging. I'll never find someone like that again. Although that's accurate, but you might find someone even better. You might find something even more important. You have to not sort of set yourself up in a self-fulfilling prophecy this month. It would be much more constructive for you to have either a daily affirmation or prayer that would be something along these lines. You would say, Dear God in the universe, I am ready now to receive something beyond my wildest expectations. I open up my heart despite any sort of loss or disappointment and understand that there's a lesson in everything. I'm now ready to receive and move past this. Thank you so much for bringing this to me, something like that. But I think what's important is that you could put what you're looking for, but say, I'm ready and willing to receive something beyond that, and I'm open to miracles in my life. I think you should actually say that part of it too. Miracles and transformative events that will surpass my expectations of positive outcomes, something like that. Get very specific with the universe. You don't want to sort of just leave it on a very general note, but use the word miracles, and I think that opens you up and it lets the universe know that you have faith, and that's important. Now, your Destiny card was reminding you that you have to sort of do a little bit of soul searching and remember how you got where you're at. Decide if you still like being where you're at, whether it's a job, a relationship, a certain part of your life, a certain place that you're living. And if it no longer feels authentic to you, then you know it's time to move on. If there's something that you still feel like you want to fight for, then you know you can stay. But it's all going to come from your internal compass. So spend some time and listen to yourself and know, is this worth it? Okay? So that brings our monthly reading to a close for the month of April. But if you'd ever like to have a one-on-one reading with me and discuss important situations in your life, or if you have more specific questions, you can click on the first link below the video in the description area. Right there you can check out my rates and availability. Likewise, if you just like to send a small token of appreciation for the fact that I put all the videos up each month, that would also help. This is viewer supported and it goes a long way. It especially helps me buy new cards and supplies. So there's a link there where you can go to my site, and if there's a few links for donations, or you can join me on Patreon. As little as $1 makes a big difference. Also, if you like to stay connected, the third link will take you to all of my social media presences, and I would love for you to join me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you can sign up for my newsletter. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button and that little bell icon so that you're opted into notifications. Now, I like to end every video with a sense of gratitude, and it's not just gratitude for coming here, liking, subscribing, all of that's great, but what I really like is the fact that you guys are working on yourselves and you've given me a chance to sort of help create some change within your life. I talked at the end of every video last month about creating this chain of light, and I think we're starting to do that, and that brings great joy to me. I want us to continue that and even take it a step further, and I want you to see yourself like me as someone who can help others, whether it's just being in the presence of other people and inspiring them, or being like a lighthouse where you're going to take a stand and really help create change on this planet. So keep working on yourself. Know that that's the single best investment in yourself and in the planet that you can make, and know that it brings me great joy again to be a part of your journey. So I send you much love and light on that journey, and I look forward to seeing where it takes you and me as well. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again next month. Bye-bye.